Did you ever wonder about why during Leil HaSeder we spend an exorbitant amount of time talking about slavery and challenges and hardships? When you think about it, Hag HaPesach is our opportunity to reflect on our freedom. We're so happy, we're joyed, we're thrilled about the fact that we are a free people. So why are we spending time talking about slavery and challenges and hardships? When I think about this idea, I think about a concept in sports called Monday morning quarterback. You see, football is traditionally played on Sunday afternoon. Monday morning is the athlete's time to look at their film and to see how they played the day before. Usually, when a player does not perform well, the last thing that they want to do is to look at that film. They instinctively say, "Turn it off, I cannot bear to watch." But I don't think this is just an athlete's problem. I think this is something that all of us struggle with in our own lives. Think about a time in which you were embarrassed, a time in which you made a poor choice, and how that day, and the day after that, and the many days to follow, we replayed that moment over and over in our minds, wondering how we could have been so foolish to make such a decision, which only reaffirms the original question. Why, on a night that is designated for freedom and happiness, are we spending it with slavery and challenges and hardships? To answer this question, we can look to our Hallel. In the Hallel, we say, Even ma'asu habonim hayeta lerosh pina. The stone that the builders rejected turned out to be the cornerstone, which begs the obvious question. How could it be that the stone that the builders themselves were repulsed with and were rejecting ended up becoming the cornerstone and the foundational building block to the building itself? And to answer that question, we must ask ourselves an honest question. When we are faced with a hardship, how do we normally respond? Do we simply try to pretend like it doesn't exist? Do we attempt to sweep it underneath the rug? Or are we vulnerable enough and courageous enough to look at our film, to look at ourselves in the mirror and to say, today was not a great day. Today was not one of my better moments, but I am committed to growth and I am committed to change. And that exercise is so powerful because without that embarrassing moment, I never would have grown to become the stronger version of myself. There is a Mishnah in Masechet Pesachim which says, Matchil bignut umsayem beshevach. We start out with disgrace and we conclude with glory. And the Hachamim here explain that the reason why we start out with the challenges and with the hardships is because we don't for a moment want to consider that the miracle of Pesach was done coincidentally. It was done with Yad Hashem. It was done because Bnei Israel once upon a time looked themselves in the mirror and said, we want better. We want to grow. We want to become the greatest nation that we know Hashem wants us to become. And so for this upcoming Hag HaPesach, for Leil HaSeder, when we have opportunities to reflect on slavery and challenges and hardships, let us take a moment to reflect on ourselves and to ask ourselves, how are we dealing with the difficult hardships in our own lives? Let us use those moments for growth to become better, stronger versions of ourselves so that we can become the building blocks and the foundational pieces to the beautiful growth in ourselves, in our homes, and in Am Yisrael for years to come. Hag Sameach.